That one has her eyeshadow on.
Yes, she's got very good eyeshadow on fleek.
No, it's my turn. It's my turn.
The blue bum sheep. These must be maybe they're that shows which ram is after siring them. Maybe? Maybe. I'm on the sticks and I'm going slow, so hopefully there's a waterfall just there, and I'd like to get that far, but I might just hang around with these sheep dudes, sheep lady faces. You want to be in it? No? I think you do. I think you do want to be in it. Ooh. Thank you for this introduction. Man falls. Wait, I gotta get my stick. Yeah, right. You can see Mum and Dad's bright. Just here, that's where they are. Oh, lovely.
Wonderful.
All the people, you can tell the distance. That's how far away it is. So pretty. Hi! Oh, Mum is waving. Hi! I just took it really slowly, and that's all I can do. Just take it slowly and get there in the end.
Walk up to it, it's lovely actually.
Oh, do you want to take the keys? You can climb all the way to the top. I will not be doing that. But it's pretty beautiful. It's rainy. Oh, shit.
Some lands on some rocks.
So we arrived home. It is, we arrived home at about 4:30. James drove all the way back, which was great. We've got a kitten, a big kitten and a small kitten. She's fighting for her life over there. It's very exciting. And I'm just making some dinner. I'm making some potato and beetroot soup. Ooh. It's turning this incredible orange colour. That beetroot is amazing. So I wonder will I throw in some chilli in there to kind of match that heat. Add some extra water. beautiful. And we got our newest box, and we've just got some fennel with it. And I remember when I was in Switzerland once upon a time, a long time ago, visiting a friend, I had this incredible fennel salad. So I'm going to try and make it again today. It's really finely sliced fennel bulb, one fennel bulb, some half of a lemon, 2 tablespoons of olive oil, and parsley and thyme. So herbs are in there as well. I just need to get rid of that woody stem. There you go. And in addition, I'm going to add in, it says to add parmesan. I'm going to add this Violife Procashina wedge. It is absolutely amazing. It's made from coconut oil, and it's got B12 vitamins, which is very important. What has it got there? Lots of fat because it's a cheese substitute. Water, starch, modified starch, coconut oil, sea salt, rice protein, flavorings, olive extract, colour, B-keratin, which is B-keratin is the colour, and it is formed from carrots. Vitamin B12, not to be confused with GMOs, genetically modified. So modified starch is not genetically modified, and it's everything free. It's dairy free, lactose free, soy free, gluten free, nuts free. So yeah, it is absolutely delicious. So it called for shaved parmesan, so I've just cut it up into really, really thin slices using a knife. I'm just going to mix all this up and dust it. It should be nice. I have some good soup. This should be nearly ready now, and I'm just going to blend that. So yeah, definitely some chili. I think I'll just add some. So I sat down after lunch or dinner, and I had to finish off the weaving. I know it's tour de fleece and I should have been spinning, but I only had a few rounds of the back roller to go. So I got going, and I'm just going to talk you through how I do my weaving, especially with my edges. I'm just going to zoom in just here so you can see a little bit clearer. So when I weave, I introduce the shuttle across, and I like to pinch the edge. You can see there on my right hand side, I like to pinch the edge where I like it to stay, and then bring the yarn up, not straight across, up at around a 20-degree angle, or 10 to 20 degrees, just to give it space to actually get kind of taken up. Because every time you swing across, you're not going straight across. When you're banging down the heddle, when you're pressing the yarn in, it's actually going in underneath, over, under. So you do need to leave a little bit of slack, but you don't want to leave too much slack so that there's little loops at the edge. So what I do is, when I'm introducing it, I grab it, I pull the thread out. You can see me just there adjusting it, and I pinch it where I want it, and then I pull the thread across at around 10 degrees up from the main straight across, so that when I am pressing down the heddle, that gives enough slack. So I do like to pinch it in the right place. Now, the trick is to not pinch it, not pull too hard, and not leave too much. So to balance it out, that pinch is very important. That pinch at the edge is, you're maintaining the pinch from the previous, you're maintaining the line up either side. So if you need to pull out a little bit, it gives you a little bit of something to pull back on. So, and I also have this terrible habit of weaving right up to the heddle. Like, there's not much space there, as you can see, there really isn't. So I'm at risk of my edges not being quite right there now, because there may be a little wobble because it is so close, but I'm just lazy. So I will move it forward there in a second, but I'm so lazy. Okay, I actually had to cut and move to where I actually did. So I'm holding on to the back and then rolling the yarn forwards, rolling the fabric forwards onto the front roller. kind of blocking your view there so you can't really see, but and then I'm making sure the tension is right by increasing the tension there. So we'll just double check, see if everything's okay. That's that little cardboard there. I'm not changing anything. There was one thread that was wrong on it. I like to keep the shed clean, and by how I do that is to actually introduce a bit of cardboard at the back of the heddle, so that the half the threads are up, half the threads are down, that piece of cardboard is in the middle. It makes the shed really clean, especially if your yarn is quite woolly and quite sticky. That helps an awful lot when you are now the shed, if you can see, is where the shuttle went through. It's the space in between the different levels of yarn. Yeah, so then I just carry on.
I take commitment pretty seriously, and I know you do too. Did you have a rough day at work? Is that it?
Exciting times! I finished the apron bar, so I just have this much to weave. Oh, it'll be done in a few minutes, say 10 minutes. Okay, so I think I've reached the physical capacity of this loom. I cannot really make a clean shed anymore out of this. It's just too small, which saddens me because I have this much left, so that's sad. But anyway, means I'm finished. So I am going to film a little hem stitch. So I'm going to move over into the better light and do that. Okay, so in order to sew in your hem stitch, you need 4 widths of your warp yarn. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4. Oh, all right. A little bit extra just for luck, because you can always do it extra, but it's a pain in the bum having less. So 1, 2, 3, and 4. Great. So just cut that. Perfect. So you will need a curve stitch needle or curve end needle. They're the nicest, handiest ones to use. And just going to wrap it around there. Lovely. Now I'm going to turn on the light, and it's going to turn the colour a little bit warm, but it's the only light I have, so you'll be able to see a little bit closer. Okay, so to start off, we're going to do this in threads of 3. I think that's what I did on the other side, so fingers crossed. I should have really written a note. But you're just going to go in, you're going to go in 3 here, going to find those, and then go down 3 rows. All right, so that's your first stitch, and then you're going to go through and tie that up a little bit. Tidy, that's just the starting stitch. Now you're going to go from the outside again, you're going to go over to 6 and down 3 again, and that stitch is going to basically tighten up these first 3 stitches there. There you go. Now what you need to do is then you need to go back to your second 3, and you'll form a little diagonal. Okay, and then you need to go start from the start of that 3rd stitch there, go across and down 3, so you're forming little boxes of 9 squares, essentially 3 squared, and then you collect those 3 that you've just differentiated and make a little diagonal across the box. Go in from that start point again, so you're going over it, down 3, over and down 3 into your new box. Now you can do this 2 by 2 or 4 by 4 or however many you feel like. 2 by 2 gets you get a smaller little fringe, a smaller edge, but I'm just going with what I had on the other side. Now, it'll be hilarious because it'll be like 2x2 or something really annoying. When I actually open it out, I can't remember. You should write it down in a little notebook, but I did not, so that's no use when you're starting. Yeah, it is a good idea. And when I was filming it, I filmed it at fast speed, so I can't exactly see what's going on. So now I'm going to turn it on to fast speed again so that you can not get bored. Okay, we have our hem stitched. You see there? Lovely little neat hem stitch, and it's formed little bundles already. So now, in order to maintain the warp as long as possible, try and reduce as much wastage as I can, I'm just going to cut it off right here along the apron bar. This is the apron bar. It's attached by these little things. It's rolled on to this back roller here. So I'm just going to cut across here. Okay, you ready? Okay. I wish this was sharper scissors, but anyway. And it'll just comb off. Ooh, satisfying. Oh, I can see the colour on here. I wonder will that wash off? I hope it will. Okay, so we have got our first little example of what the fabric's going to be like. Now, I wove this very loosely. I got very loose near the end, and that makes me a little bit nervous. I'm just going to trim off that little warp. I've tied that knot a couple of times, so that's going to be fun. Okay, we ready? All right. So I've taken the break off there, and it's just going to roll out, hopefully. Oh, so pretty. Oh my god, it's so long. Ta-da! And we did do 3 on this side. Yay! So now I'm just going to undo. Actually, what I'm going to do now is I'm just going to cut off this this cotton spacer that I started weaving with, and then we'll be ready to go. So in order to get this, so I've tied it like so I can untie it quite easily, which is the first time I've done that, which is quite smart of me. And it's just you tie them with a knot across. You separate it out and then you tie the knot together once, and that allows you to adjust your tension. And then the next time you just tie it, but don't pull all the way through, so that you can just undo it very easily on the other end, which is perfect, because often I end up so frustrated that I end up having to cut it off, which is such a waste. I hate waste. I hate it. So what I'm going to do now, this is just some cotton. I'm going to, you see where this naturally splits up? I'm going to be very careful, and I'm just going to cut that off there with a hopefully sharper scissors than this. My God. There we go. This is only the fringe, you know, you're not going to lose anything too drastic if you do manage to cut into that, but there we go. So then those little bits will come out. It's best when you're starting to start spacing out your warp to use something that's not going to, it's not sticky. So a slippery acrylic or a cotton is good for this job, just to start off, and something you're not going to super miss. Now, you could do that both sides, or Sometimes this works. Sometimes it works just by pulling on the other side. Yeah. So you just hold on the other side and it will pull out. It should anyway. Yep. There's one and there's the other. So it pulls out quite easy. And the more you pull out, the easier it'll get, because you have more space over this side. Okay, so it's kind of doing a bit of a smocking thing, but then you'll pull it out. So you could unweave it one at a time, but nah. If I was really dedicated to not being wasteful, I could unweave it, but no, I'm not that into it. Okay, how many more do we have to do? Okay, only 2 more, that's grand. I like to leave it tied on for this job just because it's nice to have a little bit of tension when you are pulling these out. It's nice to have that. There we go, and it's off. Lovely job. This is a very drapey fabric. Super drapey, the drapiest I've ever done. Oh wow, it's lovely. Okay, so now I'm just going to undo this. It should be pretty easy. Oh, lovely. Those knots managed to keep the tension really well, actually, the whole way down, so that was fantastic. I learned that from a weaver in Ennistimon. We went up there recently and she had her big loom up and running and it was great to see. Anyway, I'll pop this on time lapse because this is a bit boring, but outrageous. Outrageous. Okay, so, I've just measured this bad boy. So this has turned out to be, I was hoping for around 4 meters. Didn't get 4 meters. I got, and this is a pre-wash now, so it probably will shrink another little bit. I got it to 364 centimeters. long, and then an average of 34 centimeters wide. So I'm not sure what that is in inches. You can put that into YouTube or Google and figure that out. That's what I have to do whenever anyone says inches. So yeah, so there's quite a lot of yardage here, or meterage here. And I'm not sure what I'm going to do. I think that what I could do is make a t-shirt, a V-neck t-shirt. That's an option. So I'm just going to fold it in half again. I keep putting the drape on it is so lovely. I know it's very see-through now, so I would be nervous about washing this. I feel like it's going to travel. So I feel like it's really airy, open. It is DK weight, but I think it's a light DK. It's not a, yeah, I think it is a light DK, and the warp will move if I put my finger in, like it will move. So I need to figure out a way to kind of set it without kind of moving too much of the warp. It might just be that I have to be careful with it, and that's fine. I can do that. So half of it gives me 180 centimeters. So if I can, I'd love to just cut it in half and just have it, oh fig, sorry. So yeah, I would just love to cut it in half and then throw it over my shoulders and then sew it up the side and up the back and the front. Just keep it really simple. I'm really all about simple when it comes to this sort of thing. So the other option is to cut it into 4 pieces and do the same thing as my coat again. It'll be a bit shorter. Let's see what it looks like. Okay. So this is the length of it just there. So if I, oh no, you can't get it, Miss Dust. So there are my shoulders. Down. Throw this front bit down. Okay, so green in the middle. Yeah. Beans and Toast are having their evening zoomies. So never mind their little drops and bubbles. So actually, it's probably going to be just a little bit shorter. I'd love to make it. The fabric on this is a lot looser than anything I've made. I'd love to make a kind of a dress. I don't know if that's possible. I think I'd probably need another bit of fabric there. And another bit of fabric there, like a triangle, to make a dress. You know, I have seen some really cute things that people have basically sewn up the front, sewn up the back, and then picked up stitches. Now I've been talking about picking up stitches and knitting onto my weaving for ages, but I have a whole load of the warp of the weft left. Like I have a load of it left. So like I could do something like that if I fancied it, you know. Interesting. Interesting. Right? Cute. I've got plenty to do a t-shirt. I could just do a poncho as well, but a little dress I think would be adorable. And I love the length of the sleeves on this. That's perfect. I think this is also the first time I've managed to get all the way across. I had to add on an extra bit, but I think it worked really well. The drape on it's really nice. You know, all the rest of the yarn that I've the two garments I've already made something for. The fabric was very stiff, so this is the first one that it's been really drapey, which seems to work really well. Yay! So yeah, we're going to go to bed. I didn't spin it all today. How bad is that? But I just desperately needed to get this finished. You understand. You understand. So I'm going to go to bed early tonight because I'm going back to work tomorrow. So that is wonderful. Oh, I did my exercises and I didn't film them. Oh. We also went for a walk in the mountains and I have a very sore hip, which I hope will be fine for work tomorrow. What do you think, Toasty? What do you think about this? Yeah, I get. Oh no! Don't be scratching Mummy's new weaving. Anyway, I'm going to sign off tonight, and I hope you've had a wonderful day. And I'll see you tomorrow.